Hampi, Anjaneya's birthplace in ancient history. Podcast hosts are Nagendra Nagarajayya and Akul Nagendra. Sources based on travel account by Nagendra Nagarajayya. A short summary of the podcast. Beyond Hampi's famous ruins lies a hidden world of ancient mythology. Join us as Nagendra shares his journey discovering the birthplace of Hanuman and the sacred sites where the Ramayana's epic stories unfolded thousands of years ago. From climbing Anjaneya Hill to exploring Vali's cave, we reveal how this landscape holds both medieval history and timeless mythology in perfect harmony.
This deep dive today comes from my own travel account, which actually touches on research suggesting origins, potentially thousands of years before Vijayanagara. Sarojabala and Nilesh Oak have dated Ramayana to less than 6000th century BC.
Right, and our way into this today is actually through your personal journey. You shared your experience exploring these ancient sites.
Yeah, and this trip wasn't about the usual sites. You know the stuff on the 50 rupee note? It was specifically about finding these ancient mythological spots.
Places linked to the Ramayana, particularly Anjaneya Hanuman, his birthplace, and sites where Rama interacted with Sugriva and Vali.
So that's our mission here, to sort of unpack these layers of Hampi's history using my personal journey as our guide, and we'll highlight some of the well-surprising connections I found during my visit.
Okay, so where does the journey begin? You mentioned arriving, settling in at a place called Evolve.
And that first evening, it kind of sets the scene, doesn't it? There's an event, a local storyteller.
Yeah, telling a legend about the region being a Virabhumi, a land of the brave.
And this isn't just some random story.
No, not at all. It connects directly to the founding of the Vijayanagara kingdom itself, the one Hampi's famous for.
The story of the brothers.
Yes, the shepherd brothers Hariharaya and Bukariya, Hakabuka they're often called.
Right, and they see something unusual.
Extremely unusual. A rabbit being chased by a fox suddenly turns around and chases the fox away.
Wow, okay, that's unexpected.
Absolutely. So they tell their guru Vidyaranya about this, and he sees it as a powerful sign.
A sign of what?
That this land, this Virabhumi, was a place where even the weak could find courage and, overcome.
And this happens at Anagundi?
Yes, Anagundi. I learned that the guru helped them find funds. They mortgaged their wealth. Spurred on by this sign, they started their kingdom right there.
And that event in 1336 is the beginning of the Hampi kingdom?
Pretty much. I was told the first palace was built there. It still exists, apparently, and the 19th ruler might even live there today.
It's amazing how that well-known history has its own origin story tied to the land's spirit. But like I found during my travels, there's this even older story.
Right, and you mentioned being surprised having grown up nearby in Bangalore, not knowing about this deeper Ramayana connection.
My specific interest was Anjaneya's birthplace and these other sites. So let's really get into that ancient layer. Where did I start?
The first major stop was Anjaneya's supposed birthplace, Anjaneya Hill.
Okay, and I described the climb. Sounds like you need to be prepared.
Definitely. Start early, like 6:30 a.m. to avoid the worst of the heat, and it's a steep climb, 575 steps. So yeah, fitness helps.
And the climb itself sounds interesting. I mentioned seeing squirrels and lots of monkeys. Kind of fitting, right?
Very fitting for Hanuman's Hill, and you get these unfolding views as you go up.
So you finally reach the top. What's there?
A small temple for Hanuman, but according to your account, the really captivating thing was watching the monkeys up there.
Oh yeah, that detail was great. I described seeing monkeys that looked like a king and queen with their little one.
Right, and more than that, you saw what you called soldier monkeys.
Soldier monkeys?
Yeah, seemingly guarding the younger ones, playing with them, but also kind of keeping them aligned, making sure they didn't cross boundaries, almost like teaching them.
Wow, like a little society playing out right there?
Exactly, right on the hill believed to be Hanuman's birthplace. It's quite a picture.
Protecting the little ones. So after the temple visit, the Mangalarati, the climb down was just as steep, needing care.
Yeah, focus required both ways. So once down, the next big goal was finding Rishimuka. That's the hill where Rama met Sugriva.
And this wasn't easy, apparently.
No, you really emphasized this in your account. You got conflicting directions, went around in circles.
Makes you appreciate a good guide?
Laughs.
Which I didn't have initially.
Right. You spent about an hour searching before finding a resort with a restaurant. Had some green tea and started talking with the waiter who was a local and got clear directions finally.
And the road itself sounds a bit adventurous.
A bit, yeah. A narrow road, a parking lot, and then you actually have to cross the Tungabhadra River.
How?
What you described as a small log-type bridge Feels quite rustic.
And from there, you can see the main ruins across the water.
Yeah, you can see New Hampi, the main Vijayanagara site, across the river. But the key thing is Anjaneya Hill and this spot, Rishimuka, are on the same side, kind of separate from the main tourist trail.
Okay, so you cross the river, you're at Rishimuka. Why is this place so important in the Ramayana?
Well, this is where the story says Rama first meets Sugriva near a cave entrance, actually. They meet to discuss the problem of Vali.
Sugriva was hiding here, right? Hiding from Vali.
Exactly. Vali, his own brother, was hunting him down. Vali thought Sugriva had betrayed him, stolen the kingdom, while Vali fought a demon. We'll get to Vali's side of that later.
And this hill was special. It offered safety.
Unique safety. Rishimuka is described as the only place Vali could not set foot on.
Why not?
Because of a curse from a sage, so Sugriva was safe, but only as long as he stayed put on this specific hill.
I mentioned a small temple inside the cave there, and someone unexpected outside.
Yeah, you were surprised to find a policeman there. Not many people around at that moment.
Did he say why?
Apparently it usually gets quite crowded. But the nice thing was when you asked about finding a guide, this policeman was super helpful, made some calls, found someone free.
Ah, that must have made a difference. Local help saving the day?
Definitely smoothed things out. So with the guide now, the next stop was Pampa Samovar.
Okay, Pampa Samovar, what's the significance here? Multiple things.
Yeah, several layers. Mythologically, it's supposedly where Rama first met Hanuman, a really key moment.
Hanuman, right? Not Sugriva first.
Hanuman first, then Sugriva. And historically, your account links it to that guru doing puja for the Vijayanagara Empire's funds.
But the place itself looks different now.
You mentioned they completely remodeled, but it used to be a lake.
So the Ramayana story here, Rama and Lakshman are searching for Sita.
Yes, wandering desperate. Sugriva and Hanuman see them from Rishimuka and are suspicious. They worry Vali might have sent assassins.
Ah, okay, so they send Hanuman to check them out.
Exactly. Sugriva asks Hanuman to investigate. Hanuman approaches Rama disguised as a Brahmin, asks who they are, why they're there. Rama pours out his heart, explains about Sita being kidnapped.
And Hanuman believes him?
Seems so. Your account suggests Hanuman recognizes Rama's sincerity. He takes Rama to meet Sugriva, and then comes the proof.
The earrings?
Yes. Sugriva provides one of Sita's earrings. Your account really highlights this. Sita dropped her jewelry deliberately as she was carried off by Ravana.
Like breadcrumbs.
Kind of. And Sugriva had actually seen Ravana's flying chariot with Sita in it from his lookout spot.
That piece of jewelry changes everything?
It solidifies the trust. Rama and Sugriva form an alliance. Rama needs help finding Sita. Sugriva says yes, but
There's always a but?
only if Rama helps him defeat Vali first. Sugriva explains he's trapped on Rishimuka and tells Rama his version of what happened with Vali.
Okay, which leads us to the caves nearby, Sabari Cave and Vali Cave. Sabari Cave is right in front of the Samovar.
Right there, and your account gives this amazing detail about it.
The temperature?
Yeah, how incredibly cool it is inside, like stepping into air conditioning, you said. A huge contrast to the blistering heat outside, upper 40s Celsius, you mentioned.
Wow, a natural cool spot, amazing.
And Valley Cave?
Close by, inside some old fort walls. There's a Durga temple there too. And an interesting practical note from my experience.
Free lunch for everyone, yes. And apparently really tasty buttermilk.
Buttermilk, why specifically?
You were told it's because the temple has its own Goshala, a cow shelter, so presumably very fresh milk makes great buttermilk, a nice little detail.
It is. So let's get into Vali's story now, as I learned it there. The fight with the demon happened in this cave.
That's the story. Vali goes in to fight a demon, tells Sugriva, wait outside, don't leave till I come back.
Simple instructions, but it goes wrong.
Terribly wrong. The demon pulls a trick, makes blood flow out of the cave.
So Sugriva assumes the worst.
Exactly. He sees the blood, thinks Vali's dead, so he does what he thinks is necessary, blocks the cave entrance with a huge boulder. Then he goes back to their kingdom, Kishkinda, and eventually becomes king.
But Vali wasn't dead?
Not at all. He eventually kills the demon after a long fight, comes back to the entrance, finds it blocked.
And he assumes?
He immediately thinks Sugriva trapped him in there on purpose to steal the throne. Pure betrayal in his eyes.
So he vows revenge.
To kill Sugriva in your account makes a point of mentioning another act by Vali.
Taking Sugriva's wife.
Yes, forcibly taking Sugriva's second wife.
Mm-hmm.
Your narrative emphasizes this act, taking another's wife, as the key justification Rama uses later. It's framed as the reason Rama's intervention against Vali is righteous.
Okay, that sets up the final confrontation, which takes place at Chintamani.
Chintamani. That's the spot where the story says Rama finally kills Vali.
And the plan involves Sugriva challenging Vali again.
Right, Sugriva challenges Vali to a duel, but Rama has to help because of Vali's boon.
Ah, the strength-dealing boon, half the power of anyone fighting him directly.
Exactly, so face-to-face combat for Rama is out. He needs to attack indirectly.
So he hides.
Hides behind a bush, planning to shoot Vali with an arrow from concealment.
But the first attempt fails.
Yeah, your account says during the first fight the brothers looked too similar. Rama couldn't distinguish them from his hiding spot, and Sugriva nearly got killed.
Oh no, so they needed a marker.
Precisely. Rama tells Sugriva, wear this garland for the next fight. That way Rama can clearly see who is who.
And this time it works?
It works. Vali, despite his power and boon, could only be killed by someone exceptionally powerful like Rama. Your account mentions Rama using a specific powerful weapon, a trident arrow.
A trident arrow? And is there anything there today marking the spot?
You mention a stone marker, said to show the direction Rama fired the arrow from.
Wow, and this all happened by the river?
Banks of the Tungabhadra, which you point out had an ancient name Pampa Nadi back in the Dwapara Yuga.
Dwapara Yuga, that's an ancient time period from the texts, right? Thousands of years ago?
Very ancient. It just reinforces how these specific places are tied into that really old mythological timeline.
And I contrast this perfectly by mentioning also seeing the famous Vijayanagara ruins later, like the stone chariot.
Right.
On the 50 rupee note?
Yeah, it brings the two Hampas together. But the main point, as you reiterate, was this trip's focus, Kishkinda village, Sugriva's kingdom, and Anjaneya Hills, Hanuman's birthplace.
And Kishkinda still exists essentially as Anagundi.
The very same Anagundi where Haka and Buka the shepherd brothers from the region founded the Vijayanagara Empire.
It's a full circle. My account connects it all founders from Kishkinda Anagundi, the first palace, still there. The current ruler may be living there.
It really hammers home how interconnected these layers are, even if one layer is much more famous.
And my surprise at not knowing this ancient part, despite growing up nearby in Bangalore, it says a lot about how Hampi's story is usually told, doesn't it?
It does. It heavily focuses on the empire, often overlooking this equally deep, older narrative written into the landscape itself.
Makes you realize there's always more beneath the surface, even in places you think you know. Oh, and a practical tip from my experience, I liked my accommodation at Evolve and mentioned other resorts near Anjaneya Hill too.
Good info for anyone planning a similar trip.
So, just to recap this journey through Hampi's ancient site, based on my experience, started way up on Anjaneya Hill, Hanuman's birthplace, feeling the heat, watching those monkeys.
Then the challenging search for Rishimuka, that safe hill where Rama and Sugriva forged their alliance.
Followed by Pampa Sarova, where Rama met Hanuman, and that crucial earring sealed the deal. Then exploring the caves, Sabari's cool refuge, and Vali's cave, the site of that fateful misunderstanding.
And finally reaching Chintamani by the ancient Pampa Nadi, where Rama hid and used strategy to overcome Vali's boon and defeat him.
What's so striking is that these aren't just stories in a book. They're tied to actual physical places in Hampi that you can still visit today, just like I experienced during my journey.
It really throws that contrast into relief, doesn't it? The world-famous Vijayanagara history sitting right on top of this much older, maybe less visible but incredibly powerful mythological history embedded in the geography and the local stories.
Yeah, it leaves you thinking.
And what strikes me most about your journey is how these two timelines, the mythological and the historical, aren't competing with each other. They're actually layered together in the same landscape.
Exactly. The Shepherd brothers who founded Vijayanagara were locals from this very region, from what was once called Kishkinda. So even the historical founding has these deeper roots in the land's ancient identity.
It makes you wonder how many other places around India have these hidden layers that we just don't talk about or explore anymore.
That's such a good point. I grew up just a few hours away in Bangalore, and I had no idea about this Ramayana connection until I specifically went looking for it. How much are we missing when we only focus on the famous history?
And the practical aspects of your journey really bring it home too. The early morning climb to avoid the heat, that helpful policeman who found you a guide, the cool relief of Sabari Cave, the free lunch and buttermilk at the temple.
Those human touches make it real, don't they? This isn't just abstract mythology, it's places where people still live, work, worship, and welcome travelers. The monkeys on Anjaneya Hill acting like little societies, the local guides who know these stories.
The continuity is remarkable. And for anyone inspired to make this journey themselves, what would be your key advice?
Start early definitely. That 6:30 a.m. climb up Anjaneya Hill is worth it. Bring good walking shoes for those 575 steps. And don't be afraid to ask locals for help. That policeman at Rishimuka who helped us find a guide really saved the day.
And stay at a place like Evolve for the full experience.
Yes, and be prepared to have your assumptions challenged. I thought I knew Hampi, but this ancient layer completely changed how I see the place. It's not just ruins from a medieval empire, it's a landscape that's been sacred and significant for potentially thousands of years.
Which brings us back to that profound question: when ancient stories are anchored to physical places you can still visit, what does that do to our understanding of history, mythology, and the relationship between them?
I think it breaks down those artificial boundaries we create. Maybe the question isn't whether these stories are historically true in a modern sense, but rather how they've shaped the identity and meaning of these places across centuries.
The land itself becomes a kind of text, doesn't it? Written and rewritten by different cultures and eras, but somehow holding all those stories at once.
Beautifully put. And that's what makes places like Hampi so special. They're not just tourist destinations or historical sites, they're living repositories of human imagination and devotion layered across time.
For anyone listening who's inspired to explore these deeper layers of familiar places, whether it's Hampi or somewhere closer to home, what would you say?
Go with curiosity, not just a checklist. Talk to locals, look beyond the famous sites, and be prepared to discover that the places you think you know might have stories you've never heard. That's where the real magic happens.
What a journey, Nagendra. Thank you for sharing this experience with us and opening our eyes to the ancient Hampi that exists alongside the famous one.
Thank you, Akul. And to everyone listening, Hampi's ancient sites are waiting for you. The monkeys are still there on Anjaneya Hill, the caves still offer their cool refuge, and the stories are still alive in the landscape.
Until next time, keep exploring the layers beneath the surface.